that's not always the case, because if the temperature is 5 degrees higher and you still go for an hour, it could overproof and destroy your bread. So bread it's difficult. It's really difficult.
And see, I just kind of accumulated like all of baking into one, but then it even branches out more to bread and cakes and biscuits and God knows what.
Yeah. Yeah, really, I tend to split it into two things, and that's just baking and pastry. I mean, I went to school for both, but, pastries are very tedious. Pastry is, a lot of pastry is similar to the savory side of culinary arts, and, making a strawberry sauce or a caramel or ganache is very similar to making a gravy or, the Shinerbach mustard.
Yeah.
But when it comes, if something goes wrong, you can tweak it here and there. But like in your bread, if you forgot to add salt, you're fucked. You can't go back and add. You can't adjust it at all. You cannot adjust it. Like, once you've added salt, you can't take it out or add more, like you can in a lot of other parts of cooking. And the same generally applies to baking pastries like cookies and cakes, but they are not nearly as dependent on the environment like bread is. A cake recipe generally, like, because you don't have to proof them and do all these other steps,
it's not as tedious.
They do require they require some tedious work, and you have to measure them very accurately and all of this, but you don't have to sit there and touch it and feel it and look at it constantly to know what's going on. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to come to work every morning, pull it out of the walk-in and feed a cake like you do a sourdough starter.
Oh, heard that. And just on that note, respect your local food cooker. Not saying that fast food workers need to make $15 an hour or anything, but you've heard from an amazing chef and teacher that this shit is hard, man. We don't just go in there and fucking flip patties. We go in there and we make food, and even in these trying times, we stay open to make food for y'all. So please respect your local restaurant people.
Yeah, whether it's a server, a cook, or the person taking your order in the drive-thru, I always think about it like this. It's like, do you want to be doing that job?
Exactly. Like Sunday morning, the people straight from church who are just listening about how they need to treat others like they want to be treated and all that horse shit. They go into a restaurant, say the Craft House, on brunch for $3 or whatever mimosas plus delicious food. They treat the servers like shit, man. Get your shit together. These are people too, a lot of times younger and a lot of times less fortunate than you. But you're always going to need to eat. So please treat them nicely, because they will do you wrong if you don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just comes from people thinking like a server, the word is so close to the word servant.
Exactly, man. And
people tend to treat people poorly. I'll never understand it. One time we had somebody spit at our hostess.
And those are usually the youngest and, dare I say, more fragile employees. Because cooks, they're hardened like we're all fucking assholes. So we can take talking shit to each other. But servers and hostesses, they aren't hardened like cooks are. So when you talk shit to them, they can't take it like we will. You're going to talk shit to me? Hey, look, I tell stories about this joke you made. I remember being a dishwasher and you being the point of the kitchen. They sent back a plate saying, the lady said, "This is the most saltiest thing I've ever had in my life." And your response was, "I feel bad for her husband." And I just lost my shit.
Yeah.
So if you do send your feedback, we will talk shit about you. Just saying.
Yeah. I know how I feel when I go out to eat with someone who's like over the top picky. I was talking to my dad earlier, and he had an old friend of his was in town visiting, and he was just talking about how embarrassed he was to go out to eat with this guy because he sent back toast because my dad told me, he was like, it was toast. But it wasn't exactly the way this guy likes his toast. He wanted it a little bit darker. And then he was also talking about how he ordered his steak, and he wanted it, the way this guy orders it is well done, but with some pink in the middle, which is not well done.
That would be like, medium well at the very least.
Yeah, so when you order like that, like you allow for this ambiguity because, one, you said a little bit of pink. And so if it comes out with a little bit of pink, you could argue and say, oh, that's not well done. And it's not. Or it could come out well done and there's no pink, and you as the customer could be like, oh, there's no pink in it. And you're also right. So I don't like that at all. I don't like that kind of person. And then he also said they went out to eat and they got a steak, and this guy, he's like, oh, I don't want any blood. I'm like, first off, there isn't any blood in a steak, and all the liquid that comes out, no matter what color it is the same.
It's not going to kill you.
It's not blood. But he also would, he ordered this, medium well or well done steak, or however he orders it. He picks it up off the plate when it comes to the table, and he takes his napkin and just soaks up all the juice that's on the plate because he doesn't want it there. He doesn't want to eat that. He's afraid of it.
It's like, dude, have you never eaten food before? That reminds me of my 7-year-old daughter. She's like, I don't want my stuff touching.
Yeah. I definitely silently judge people about the way they eat, but you can eat however you want. I'm not gonna. Do I think you're dumb for eating, a well done steak with ketchup? I don't think you're dumb. I just don't think that's necessarily the best way to eat it. I disagree with the way you're eating that food, but you have the right. You have the right to eat it however you want.
I'm gonna go out there and say, I will judge you, man, because don't do that. That's like eating tamales with ketchup, man. And we won't fuck with your food like fast food people. I'm not going to spit on your food. But if you send back a well-done steak with a little bit of pink, like he was talking about, 3 times, we're not going to put it back on the grill. We're going to put it in the fryer.
There's the new season of Ugly Delicious with David Chang on Netflix. Have you seen any of that?
I've seen a little bit of it, and it's not as fast-paced as Chef Show because I'm like most of society, but it is a good show.
It's real laid back, but the last episode, one of the episodes, they're talking about steak and beef, and they go and look at this Wagyu beef, and they're in Japan,
and that's the most
looking at all these different meats.
Expensive steak, isn't it? The white Wagyu.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. No, you got it. But they're talking about steak, and he's talking about it. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I've worked at places where if you ordered well done, we fucked that steak up. We'd put the marks on it on the grill, drop it in the fryer before they even send it out to people. Not when it came back and it was underdone. He's talking doing that, before. I'm like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
See, in ours, we have the different cuts of meat, and certain cuts have different limits. Say, a 6-ounce sirloin, we'll give you 3 chances to send that back saying it's not well done enough, you know what I mean? But if you want a well done New York strip, complain about how long it takes to cook it, because ours are 16 ounces at the Butcher's Block here in Snyder. So you got a pound of meat, and you want it well done, even medium well. That's going to take at least 30 minutes, in my experience. And then you're going to complain about how long it took and it not being well done enough. Yeah, we're going to not cook it correctly. And I'm sorry, we love y'all. Y'all pay for what we do. But get over yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never worked I worked in a French steakhouse in San Antonio, but I didn't work the grill. I was a pastry cook at the time. And my time as a sous chef or a chef de cuisine or anything like that, I've never worked in a steakhouse. And I feel sorry for anybody who's working that grill and they have to, they get an order for their 20-ounce porterhouse or something like that, and they have to cook it well done, because I have no idea what I would do. Something like a tenderloin, which you're absolutely destroying by cooking to well done, you can butterfly, because it's so thick. It's like a 2-inch thick steak, and it's like the small little petite fillet. That you can very easily butterfly it, something like that, but you can't really butterfly like a bone-in T-bone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I really don't know. Other apart from marking it as well as you can and throwing it under the broiler or into a 500-degree oven or into the fryer. I don't know what other people expect.
Yeah. Well, on that note, especially in these dire times, please respect your service workers and cooks. They don't want to be there at all, I promise you, and just treating them nicely could make their day. And I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So we've talked about you have no real future plans as of yet, but I guess go ahead and sign off, Chef David Gooch.
No problem, man. I really appreciate you having me on. It was fun talking. I hope that everybody learned a little something, because that's what I do now. I try and teach everybody. So
yeah, man.
I've got my own TV show now. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Send me a link for sure, because man,
I will.
This has been a lot of fun talking with you, and so we'll go ahead and end the episode. So links and recipes will be posted in the description. Well, I say plural, but I only want to do one because I'm not trying to. I want them coming back for more, and I plan to get back with you again.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right, man.
I had fun.
Yeah. You take it easy, and y'all have fun making dinner tonight.
I will. I'm about to go make some turkey spaghetti.
Ooh, that sounds good, man.
All right. Adios.
All right, take it easy.